Hello, everybody. This is Noemi Banchi, and we are broadcasting from Valley Heights in New South Wales, Australia. We are in the Blue Mountains near Sydney. And, well, as you see, we are going to talk about the scientific prior. And for those who are not familiar with metaphysics, it might sound contradicted because on one side we have science, on the other side we have religion, more related to prayer. Well, but in metaphysics, we combined the two aspects in one. Why? Because, and I took the picture especially for that, for the title. To, I don't know, it's the saying it says, one word is worth well more than 1,000 words, something like that. Okay, so with prayer, we put our attention at the top, above. We are above the conflict, above of any difficulty, above of any problem. We don't call problem in metaphysics to not create them. We say situations, we say issues, circumstances. And well, the picture is very scientific, so it's, almost NASA doing this job. So with this scientific prayer, what we are going to talk today is the way that you can achieve things that you need. And it's scientific, first of all, because you can check. You can observe. It's not imaginary. It's not that sometimes works, sometimes doesn't work. Scientific means you can check. You can observe, and it's always the same result. And prior, is like a recipe, something like we are going to a recipe that we are going to use to have a meal. Well, this is the prior. Let's see. We are studying Unveiled Mysteries by Guy Ballard or Godfrey Ray King. So what happened in that book? So the thing is, Saint-Germain met Guy Ballard in Mount Shasta, California, in the US in 1930. And through several experiences, Saint-Germain taught Guy Ballard different things. And then he wrote this book with all that information. Very clever, Guy Ballard, because he thought of, okay, there might be people interested in learning as well. So he was clever and he wrote that book. So Saint-Germain taught Guy Ballard this. And he explained, a cataclysm occurred which tore the surface of the earth until all collapsed within itself. The ancient land of Mu sank beneath the waves of what is now the Pacific Ocean. What we see today as water, once upon a time, was what it says? Well, he says land, kind of like continent, the continent of Mu. And it's kind of the story of what happened with Noah in the Bible. So, next came the growth to beauty, wisdom, and power of Atlantis, a great continent covering a large part of what is now the Atlantic Ocean. So, what we see today as water, once upon a time, there was a continent called Atlantis. So Atlantis now is Atlantic Ocean, and Mu now is Pacific Ocean. But what happened actually? Why these situations happen? And from one continent to the next one, it happened million things, a lot of years between one of them. History does not recall all these things because happened too many years ago. And history starts when we have evidence. But in that case, well, one day we will discover Atlantis, because it's newer than Mu. Actually there is a movie, Atlantis, that is a city underneath the water. Have you seen that? It's very interesting. It's it's a cartoon movie, but it's very good. So, but it's very interesting because when we what is the interesting thing about learning history, that you can learn from the past. So Sandra Mom says the mechanical development of this cycle reached a very high state of achievement. And one of its most remarkable expressions was the perfection of their aerial navigation. So they were very clever. People at that time, they were very sophisticated. If we are talking today about AI, like artificial intelligence, well, that at that time they were above. And they were very good at aerial navigation. I don't know, our Boeing 777 maybe now is like very old-fashioned in comparison to their mechanical, like it Sanderman says, mechanical development. They were, and you see in the future movies that there are a lot of cars flying and these kind of things. So maybe it's related to this. Saint-Germain continues. A large portion of these people became aware of the great inner God power within the individual. But, as before, we are talking about Atlantis people. But, as before, the human side of their nature or outer activities again usurped the great energy. Selfishness and misuse of this transcendent wisdom and power gained the ascendancy to even greater height than before. So what was the issue with them? They were very smart, they had very good technology, and what happened? So they forgot their source, the real being. They thought that they were unstoppable and they were the creator, and they forgot this, the essence. And there are many images of the I Am Presence online, and some of them are terrible because they are imagination of people who draw, or they are an, 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 inaccurate. So this is the source. If we start explaining the image, there are three parts in this image, and this is the image of yourself. If you look at yourself in a mirror, you see only the one part of the bottom. But let's start from the beginning. Let's start with the spirit. So you and I and we are spirit. Like St. Paul said, you are spirit, soul, and body. The spirit is the top. Is represented by that body of light with a face. Then in the middle there is the representation of a triangle, and this is your soul, your consciousness. You are aware of something that is your consciousness, and within your consciousness there is this causal consciousness, causal body, which is represented by 7 concentric circles or spheres. One blue representing protection, and another one yellow, what we call in light, we call golden, and the third one, and the golden is represented is representing wisdom, intelligence. The third aspect is pink, love, inclusion. The fourth aspect, the fourth sphere, is white, and is the virtue of beauty, ascension, resurrection. The fifth sphere is green, and is the representation of health, life. The sixth sphere is the gold ruby, and in colors we can say orange, but in light we call gold ruby, and is the representation of supply, peace. And the seventh sphere is violet, and is the representation of freedom, compassion. And all of that virtue is within you. Some people are healthier than others, which means they have that aspect more developed. There are people who are richer than others, so it means that they have developed the gold ruby ray more than others. People who are smart, they have developed the the golden ray more than others. People who are inclusive, and it's because they have developed more this pink ray. Anyway, so at the end of the day, we want to develop all of them. And the last part, at the bottom of the image, is the representation of the body. And the body is composed of 4 things. Appearance, your physical body, your etheric body, and your feelings and your thoughts. So, you are not what you see in the mirror. only. Of course, you have an appearance, but it's the same as saying that you, because you wear some clothes, you are your clothes. Well, yes, that clothes belong to you, but you are not your clothes, do you? So with the inner self and the outer self is the same. And with these people from Atlantis, is like the clothes thought that they were the people, the person, and no. I like to explain this in a different way with an example to make it more clear. If you raise your hand, what do? You move your muscles, you move your hand, you move your fingers, and is it easy or is it difficult? It's easy, isn't it? In order to move your hand, what happened? So first of all, you hear what I said. So move your hand. So first, your thought. You are analyzing, you are interpreting the information all in your intellect. The second thing that happened was you are willing to move or you are not. So in that case, it's your emotion that makes you move your body or keep you still. So thoughts, emotion, and finally you are able to move your hand. And because there is blood supplying into the cells, they are alive, then you can move your hand. And because it's connected, there is nerves that communicate your brain to the hand, then you are able to move your hand. And that particular aspect between the hand and the brain, we call that you are able to move because of the etheric body, or the etheric part. So, but what makes you think? What makes you think? It's not just the thought that moves your hand. There is something else, and that is your inner self, the source. So from now on, you are not thinking, it's the I am present thinking through you. What is another name for the I am presence? God. Yes, God. But some people have many people have many ideas about God. And like I said, between the I am presence and the body, there is something called consciousness. So God will be for you what you think that God is. If you think that God will punish you, well, that will be God for you. But if you think that God is protection, then you will be protected. If you think God is justice, then you will see justice, and so on. So this is the key. And there's no there's no third person between you and your I am presence. There is nobody, it's just you. I remember this part when it says God. Where is God? God is near you, is closer than your hands, closer than your feet, closer than your breathing. So it's you. So, now the question, what is true visualization and what happens when one does visualize? Asked Guy Ballard to Sandra Mann. So after, to keep you, I don't know if you are reading the book, I would highly recommend reading the book. So what happened is Sandra Mann was showing, or took Guy Ballard to learn all this. And once all that finished, then Guy Ballard was thinking. So Sandra Mann said, do you have any question? And Ballard said, well, yes, actually, I was thinking, what is visualization? And let's see what Sandra Mann says. True visualization is God's attribute and power of sight, acting in the mind of man. Remember that was written in 1930? There was no inclusive vocabulary. If we are writing this today, we would say in the mind of human beings, in the mind of people, person, anyway. When one consciously pictures in his mind a desire he wishes fulfilled. He is using one of the most powerful means of bringing it into his visible, tangible experience. And this science already confirmed by the MRI. The MRI shows a person who is thinking of, for example, moving or drinking, taking a glass of water and drinking. In the brain, the same area as the fact of doing that action is illuminated as when the person thinks. Okay, in other words, doesn't matter if the person is actually doing the action or just thinking of the action, the area in the brain is illuminated in the MRI. See? Science and religion is not so far. So, let's practice. Because what do we do with all this theory? Let's practice with us. Would you like to give it a go? First step, determine a plan or desire to be fulfilled. And this is, believe me, if it's not the most important one, is for one reason is the first. First, you need to think what you want. Now, this has to be specific. You cannot be ambiguous. You need to be very specific. For example, I tell you, my partner wanted to sell his motorcycle. And one person came to see it and to test, drive, whatever. But he said, I'm not sure if I want a motorcycle or a car. So, ask me what happened with that deal. The deal didn't happen. Why? Because he didn't have any plan. He had, the guy had two different things and he had no plan or desire straightforward. So you want a car, okay, look for a car. You want a motorcycle. Okay, focus on motorcycles. Do you want a house? Focus on houses. Or an apartment, or a unit, or a penthouse, or, I don't know, a caravan. But you need to be specific. Have the plan. You cannot say, oh, today I want a car, tomorrow I want a motorcycle, because it's not going to happen. Do you go shopping? If you go shopping for clothes, for example, and you go to the shop, and then the shop assistant asks you, okay, what would you like? And you say, okay, I'm just looking. You don't have a plan. You will walk through up and down all that store, and you will get nothing because you don't have a plan. Sometimes you plan ahead. You say, I want this, this, this. You go there, you get there, and then you go home. That's it. As simple as. So very, very important. A plan. What do you want? Other people start thinking of what they don't want. And that is not a good beginning because you are not focused on what you want. You need to be positive. When I mean positive is you cannot say, yes, I want a partner that doesn't live far away. So you need to be straightforward. So I want a partner, I want to meet someone, and eventually things goes all right. I would like to live together, or not just from the beginning say I want just sex, that's it, and then your plan is right, straightforward, and then you will meet the people who have the same plan as you. If you want to buy a motorcycle, you will get someone who wants to sell a motorcycle. If you want someone for the rest of your life, then you will meet someone for the rest of your life. If you want someone with just for sex, then you will get what you want. Simple as. Now, in this, see that it is constructive. Be sure to examine your motive for bringing such a creation into existence. So you're going to make an effort, okay? So at least spend your energy in something constructive, something positive. So don't start thinking of something that will harm someone else, because that will come back to you. So when you say, I want that ex person, not your ex, ex person dead, you are actually saying, I want to be dead. So it's like that. So be constructive. The best way is to think for me and everyone else. What was, and this is if you are following, what was the cause of the people from Atlantis that they fell, if we can say that? Because of the selfishness of people. When you start learning these things, in order to avoid the same destiny or the same end as people from Atlantis, start working for you and everyone else. For instance, I drive to work and I park my car in a parking, of course. And when I leave the car, I say, I am protecting this car, or I invoke Archangel Michael. I say, in the name of God, Archangel Michael, protect this car and all the cars in this parking. Thank you, Father. Why do I say that? Because everything I ask for myself, I always include everyone else. If I am take a flight, I do the same. I say, I am protecting this suitcase to arrive to destiny on time. And all the luggage of these people. Thank you, Father, is done. That is the key. Second step, once you get the plan, you know what you want, state your plan in words as concisely and clearly as possible. Well, one day, Ruben Cedeño, was waiting, was a Christmas time in New York. Imagine. Okay. And he needed a taxi. He was with a friend. So he said, okay, let's use the scientific prior. So he asked for a taxi in harmony with everybody, under grace, in a perfect way. Thank you, Father, that we already have a taxi. And one taxi with people, full. Second taxi, full with people. And so on, and so on, and so on. So his friend, also metaphysician, said, kind of like, your metaphysics is not working anymore. And he analyzed and he said, hang on, it's not the metaphysics. Let's review what I'm doing. So he said, yes, in the name of God, in harmony with everybody, under grace, in a perfect way. I want a taxi empty, so we can pick it. They can pick us up. He finished the sentence, and an empty taxi came straight away, and then he got the taxi. So with this, you must be specific with the specific words. You want a car. Which car? Which color? Which model? These kind of things. Automatic, this brand, this color, da. You should be specific as much as possible. Now, it doesn't mean that you are going to ask for someone else's belongings. Like, for example, I want Logan's car. Well, no, you cannot have Logan's car. You need a car, so you will the substance in the universe is full of things, so you can get what you need. It's already created. It's already there. You just need to connect. That's all. And in Saint-Germain, what he says is, and I like this, how this evolved, because Saint-Germain explained this many years ago. Then Guy Ballard wrote the book with what he remembered. Imagine, he was now listened to this, and then he went to the hotel. He was in MacLeod Hotel in MacLeod, and he wrote these things. And then many years later, Ruben Cedeño, through this Saint-Germain's teaching, he created this quadrant of causation, or causation quadrant, which is what determines your life is your thought, your feelings, your words, and your actions. And here the second step is basically involving all those things. So first of all, you need to think. You think. Then, of course, you think and then you say what you want. So think and feeling. And write. Make an action. So write down what you want. For Christmas, you know the letter for Santa? So you write a letter when you are a kid. Even as adults in metaphysics, we still write letters for Santa. But we don't call Santa, we call the spirit of Christmas. And we write the letter and we do specifically what Saint Germain explains here. The third step, close the eyes and see within your mind a mental picture of your desire or plan in its finished, perfect condition and activity. So then you use that power that you have to think, and in the way, if for example, if it's a travel that you want to travel to somewhere, okay, close your eyes and, for example, feel the vibration if you are in a plane, or if you want to, if you need money for some reason, okay, feel that you have money in your hands. Smell the money. Even nowadays we don't touch notes anymore, we just use electronic transfers anyway. But use your sense, use your imagination. It's not imagination, it's the power of your sight to see a mental picture. God is the doer, the doing and the deed of every constructive form and action. Saint Germain says. I like the full sentence, because sometimes I just say God is the doer, the doing and the deed. But it's just of good things. The rest of the rubbish is made by human part. The mistakes are made by the human part, not God. Keep reminding the intellect that the ability to picture is an attribute of God, the attribute of sight. Even a person who cannot see can imagine, can use this activity. And this is the doer, is the God the doer. The power to feel, experience, and associate with the perfected picture is God's power. Is the doing, is while you are imagining. I always say imagine. That is visualizing. When you are visualizing the act. Let's keep with the example of the car. Feel that you are driving the car. Feel that. I have an example of myself. Once my parents bought a car, and I love the car. I remember was a Megan, Renault, and I love that car. They have that car for years. Then my brother bought them the car, and he used the car for another many years. And one day he decided to sell the car, and I said, okay, that is my time. I want to buy the car. I needed that car at that time, so I bought the car. But in my example is because every time I was driving the car, remember, I was touching the car, and I was thinking, oh, that's a beautiful car. I love this car. I always picture myself driving the car. So now, after years, the car was mine. Okay, then I sold the car to my brother again, but doesn't matter. That's the details. But the thing is, yes, they use the power of visualizing and the substance used in the world without to make the form in your picture and plan is God's pure substance. The substance used in the world without to make the form in your picture and plan is God's pure substance. Okay, the substance, the car is already created. You don't have to go to the fabric and to the factory. Sorry, you don't have to go. You don't need to go to the factory to make the car. The car is already made. You just need to use it, to manifest it. Read your desire or plan over as many times in the day as possible and always just before retiring. So keep in mind that what you want. It's not that you are going to write the letter, you're going to, picture that's it, and then forget about it. No. Imagine that you have a business and you just start your business, you go the first day and then you don't go anymore. So, no, it's not going to work. You need to go every day and stay there and keep an eye on that. So, with this is the same. So, keep in mind being focused on what you want, and especially before bed, because when you go to bed is you have 6, 7, 8 hours in which you are working on that plan. So you, when you go to bed, then you are thinking of, yes, I want this, and you are imagining that you are, let's say it's a trip and you want to go to the beach, and then you imagine you are in the beach with the waves and the sand and this everything. Under no circumstances discuss either your desire or the fact that you are visualizing with anyone whatsoever. And this is a must. Under no circumstances talk about what you want. And so I didn't put it here, but Sunderman says there are so many things that they didn't get the point to be manifested because people just talk with their friends or acquaintance. Don't talk about what you want with anybody, even your partner. Yes, even your partner. I remember once I went with one of my friends to Greece, and she was married. I think she's still married, but at that time she was married. And she said, okay, you know what? I want to go to this trip. What do I need to do? Sorry, I started wrong, because when we went to Greece is when she told me this, and then I missed it. So I will start again. So she told me that she was married, of course I knew, and she wanted a car. Okay, a new car. So she did this. She planned what she wanted, which color, which brand, everything. She went to the agency and asked for the car that she wanted. she didn't say a word to her husband. And one day she came home and I said, "Darling, look, I have a car." And she got her car. And then that's the story. So you don't, yes, the to preserve. And I always compare this with a pregnant woman. For nature keeps the baby 9 months to be fully formed, with the head, arms, legs, heart, lungs, everything in 9 months. Not before, not after. So when you have a plan, you need to keep, the baby is inside the uterus, protected by the environment outside. So this is your baby. So you need to keep being silent and don't talk about it. I mean, of course, what I'm saying here is if you want to buy a house, for example, yes, you are going to talk with a real agent or with an architect or with a person who can help you, but not with someone who cannot help you. Because what's the point? Most of the time, people may or may not make you change your mind. When you decide to definitely bring about an experience through a consciously directed visualization, you become the law, God, the law of the one to whom there is no opposite. The one. Until this is fully understood, you cannot and never will get your manifestation. For the moment a human element enters, you are taking it out of God's hands. And of course, it cannot express because you are neutralizing it by the human qualities of time, space, place, and 1,001 other imaginary conditions which God does not recognize. Do you want a house? Okay, think what you want. The house you want. The neighborhood where you want. How many stores? One store, double store? How many bedrooms? Do you want carpet or tiles? Do you want kitchen or not? Whatever you want. Now, keep this as you wish and never put into that plan, "Oh, but look at the market right now. The prices are so high. Everything is so expensive. This not the right time. Now it's not the right time to sell, or it's not the right time to buy, or blah, 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 blah." Those things are not. In the Emmett Fox also explained this, and he calls this keep you outside of this business. So keep your human part of your doubts and everything away from it. Just put this in God's hands. That's it. This is, God is the perfect partner in your business, the perfect buyer, the perfect seller. It takes no more energy to think a thought or picture of perfection than it does one of imperfection. It's the same effort to think that you can or to think that you cannot. It's the same energy, it's the same way, you just decide because you have free will. Cast out all doubts or fear and replace them. And we say the decree, "I'm not afraid, I have faith." I'm not afraid, I have faith. If you want to be healed, I'm not afraid, I have faith. If you want prosperity, I'm not afraid, I have faith. I'm not afraid of inflation, of I'm going to lose my job, or this, that, blah, blah, A, B, C, D. I'm not afraid, I have faith. You need to replace. Have no set time in your mind for results, except to know there is only now, just the immediate moment. The time is something just for the mind. For God, there is only one time, now. If you want to quit smoking, for example, or quit something, don't think that, oh yes, I'm going to. No, think you already did. Right now, not tomorrow, not in a few hours, now. As your desire or picture is constructive, you are God seeing His own plan. When God sees, it is an irrevocable decree or command to appear now. In the creation of this earth and system of worlds, God said, "Let there be light," and light appeared. Sanderman said that. So when God said, "Let there be light," it didn't happen eons, days, months, years. No, just straight away. In that moment. Even the time that you have to speak and say the words. By the way, do you know that we speak 3 times faster than we write? It's massive. It's very interesting. So even that, the time that you need to spend to speak, that's right now, straight away. And this is the scientific prior. Like I said, the recipe is how do you going to tick all the boxes? By keeping this as it is. Don't change anything. Remember, if you change the recipe, then you don't get the result. This is the scientific prior. Just keep it as it is. And it says, let's do it. In the name of the I Am Presence, in harmony with everyone else, under grace in a perfect way, if it is by law, I decree. And then you remember you are very specific, concise, what you want. Thank you, Father, it's done. You write this down, you repeat it every day, every night, until you see the manifestation. The last part is really, really important. Thank you, Father, is the actual feeling of that it's done, it's already done, you don't have to do anything else. Connie Mendes, she used to say that I want this done and I don't have to move even this finger to make it done. Simple as. Remember, in metaphysics, everything is simple. All right. Thank you very much and see you next time. Bye for now.